Hello and welcome. We are back against all odds. Another episode of the Boot Nerds podcast. JayMike, what's going on?
Look, it hasn't even been a year since the last podcast episode. I know what's going on, but it's not exactly a new year yet. But hey, new us. Things are well in Denmark, my friend. We have not yet had snow like you did last time. Tell me though, has the snowstorm continued?
The snowstorms have been continuing. Everything has delayed, all shipping. It's the worst time of the year for this. But today we're supposed to go above freezing, which is good. And then tomorrow is supposed to be like 8 degrees or something. So maybe it's all going to melt. I'm pretty pumped. I know people are typically celebrating for a white Christmas. I would just like it to not be so cold.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. We're probably not going to get a white Christmas here either, which we never do because Denmark, we're just going to get rain as usual. So what else is new? But hey, man, the turn of the year is almost here. And we got talking after the last podcast and was like, should we do we've been talking about doing this for a while now, a couple of years. Should we do like a big football boot awards video podcast where we just talk through all the categories, and there's been a lot of boots coming out this year, and most of them have been really, really good. Actually, I know we say it every year, but it's also true every year. And there's just a lot of lots of different categories that have actually there's a lot of diversity as well, which is nice. I would say to not just have one or two boots run away with everything. Yeah, which is good to see.
It was definitely a good year for football boot variety, which is something we haven't been able to say for a while.
Well, yeah, it's and also it's fun that it's not just the Mercs and the Preds that are just making a clean sweep, which is good. Obviously, a lot of stuff has happened like at the tail end of the year. We've had lots of boots releasing new Preds, new Jempos, new Mizuno Alphas, and just so many drops over the year. I mean, it's been like PUMA have been going hard on colorways, designs, limited editions, but it also feels like Nike and Adidas have been playing catch up in terms of like sheer volume of drops, right?
It's been a jam-packed November, December as far as boot releases go.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense to drop it all for the holiday season, for Christmas presents and stuff like that. But it's definitely been a busy end of the year. And I think when you're talking about boot awards, there's a lot of like, at least in my head, I'm like, is this recency bias or is this really that good? And just because there were so many drops now, like just going back and seeing what actually came out in 2025, because it gets a little bit foggy with how many things we see on our phones every single day. It's mind-blowing sometimes.
These came out in 2025.
Really?
The 442, they came out in 2025.
Oh, man.
I know.
It feels like it's been longer.
I know. I'm pretty sure, right? They did. I'm pretty sure I did.
I think you're right. I think you're right. But yeah, it's hard to tell now.
Yes, 11 months ago. Oh yeah, we shot that in the. Oh yeah, no weather. Funny enough, it was raining that day, and it was also windy, which means that it sucked. The review opens with me just like standing like this, shivering in the rain. Yeah, no, that was not a good time. But 442 V2 Elites came out this year. It's so much good. I'm just looking at my table here. So much good stuff has dropped this year, and as you say, recency bias. It's always going to be a thing, but we've tried to balance it out as much as possible, and. Obviously doing, like I always do, the top 5 best new boots of the year, I make notes throughout the year. And I had one boot that I thought for the longest time was, this is going to win. This is my number one, period. And then December happened.
I know.
So yeah, that was a bit crazy. But Josh, to make sure that we don't lose too many people, which is like random rambling, let's go into, without further ado, the official Boot Nerd Podcast Boot Awards 2025. And if we had some sort of jingle master now, this is the time to roll it. But do you want to kick it off with the first category?
The first category is probably one of the most important categories every year, and that is the best speed boot. It's the most popular category in football boots, fair to say.
Yes.
And it's always the most highly contested category as well.
Oh, yes. And this year, I mean, what do we have over there? Obviously, we have the Mercs, we have the F50s, we have the Ultras, we have the Scudetas, the Razors, the Furons are there.
That actually reminds me, Jay, not to cut you off because we didn't disclose this. We really tried to keep it to boots that came out in 2025. So when you're talking about the F50, it technically came out last year, even though it got a subtle refresh. So it's not eligible for an award.
Correct. And also it's the same with the Mercs and all that stuff. Ultras, Ultra 6s came out this year, so that's fair. That's fair. It's a facelift, but it's a new generation, so that's cool. But you're right. 2025 only, just to to make it a little bit easier for us. Mm-hmm. So for best speed boot, I mean, for me it was really easy. With what came out last year, I mean, Scudetas are really high on my list. The Mercs are really high on my list. But even if they had been eligible, this would have taken the cake for me. The Mizuno Alpha is still, to me, the best speed boot your money can buy. And with the refresh here, I feel like it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I love the new knit upper. When I heard about it, I thought, I'm not too sure this is gonna work. Because I love that whole cage construction that especially they had on the first Alpha. Mm-hmm. But they managed to make this upper softer. It's more comfortable. I won't say fits better because it's the same last, which, as we both know, is fantastic. But it's a little bit more pliable and feels a little bit easier taken to the shape of your foot. And still it has enough structure to it that it doesn't feel too much of a drop-off in terms of lockdown and stability compared, at least compared to the first generation. Second was a little bit more locked in, but also compromising on upper softness, right? Obviously, now we have a knit tongue. At this point, it's important to say you haven't tried these. They're on the way. You're probably going to get them today as of recording this video, as per usual. Because we plan well like that. So you haven't tried these, you'll just have to take my word for it. But knit tongue, maybe for me a step back. If you like knit tongues, cool. New heel package, suede liner from the Aurelia 2. The updated one, which is, in my book, phenomenal. No Zero Glide, of course. I loved Zero Glide. But with this actually getting a little bit grippy as you start to sweat, the lock-in is still there. There's still Zero Glide on the inside of the midfoot and the forefoot. So it eliminates slippage or glide. There's Zero Glide, as they say. Outsole is still one of the very best in the business. It is very, very snappy, and so it's one of the best. It's got one of the best lockdown on the market. One of the best lockdown. Some of the best lockdown on the market. It just fits like a freaking dream. This perhaps the best shaped last on the market for me. The outsole is good, and it's just it's light, just a complete package.
I think it's logical progression considering the minimal-ish change from Alpha 1 to Alpha 2.
Yeah.
And kind of like you said, and not having tried them just yet, the one-piece upper thing, I could see that being not everyone's cup of tea, but I think it makes more sense on a boot like this than it does actually on a Neo 4 Beta. Maybe that's
100%,
a little bit of a controversial opinion, just given that I like the non-beta version of the Neo more. But I don't know. I think making the upper a little bit softer and going in a knitted direction while maintaining the Zero Glide kind of non-slip, very locked-in feel makes sense given what was really the only complaint that I think a lot of people had with Alpha 2, and that was that it was maybe a little bit less comfortable than they would have wanted because of how grippy and kind of structured that upper could be with the laces tied tight.
And also some people complained that the Zero Glide was too grippy. So they've taken it out of the heel, made the heel more comfortable, arguably. Well, not arguably, it is more comfortable. And also there's no Zero Glide line on the insole. So I'm just going to take my Alpha 2 insole and use it with this because I like Zero Glide. But yeah, really, really good upgrade. there's a lot of other good speed boots out there, to be fair. Furon V8s, I mean, amazing if you love that really free, very barefoot-like sensation. But yeah, Ultra 6s are good. I just feel that the Alpha 3s are just that step ahead for me.
Fair. Totally fair.
Right. Most unique. And there's been a lot of unique football boots out there, yes, this year. But I'd argue that it sits in between two boots that are looking to do the same thing, really. And that is, speaking of recency bias, we have the PUMA Ultra 6 Carbon Nitro. It's a very long name, but that's because there's a lot of technology in this. So the carbon outsole, but with then a full-length foam layer, nitro foam layer, which is this super responsive PUMA foam layer that they have jammed in between. Basically doing the same thing as the F50 Plus with the Lightstrike Pro and the double plate. And they feel unique. Have you tried the Nitro yet?
The Nitro is another one. I'm supposed to have Alpha 3 and Nitro quite literally today as we're recording this. Fantastic. By the time this podcast goes up, I'll have tried everything probably for a week or two. So,
okay. So if you tell me after the shoot that you hate this, I'm gonna make a little voiceover note. So if you don't hear anything right now, Josh likes them both. So cool. But this is it looks a little bit, and maybe also feels to me a little bit too chunky. And I love the feeling when you sprint in these is crazy. It's super springy, just like the F50 Plus. Maybe even more so than the F50s, but they're just, for me, it would take too much adjusting for me to actually get used to play with these. So for me, I think the award has to go to the F50 Plus because it manages to be unique while still actually being genuinely playable, if you know what I mean. And it was a huge improvement on the first gen.
Yeah, and I think depending on what your perspective is on what makes a speed boot feel good, you could say that's the best speed boot of the year in terms of being the most hardcore and focused on just being fast more than anything else. But I really, really liked F50 Plus. Again, if you can get used to it. My problem with Carbon Nitro and F50 Plus is they could very much be those one and done technologies where you get them, you really like them, and then 6 months when you need a new pair of boots, they're done with that. It's concept's over.
But they genuinely haven't given us another pair of the F50 Plus or another colorway of the F50 Plus. It's you get that, and that's it. And the upper is thin. It's almost a crazy fast plus upper, which is not the most durable thing in the world. So yeah.
It's a funny thing because it's almost like with both PUMA and Adidas, especially with this new F50 Plus, you want us to like it. You're presenting it as this next generation thing, but you seemingly don't have the confidence to give us more than one colorway.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah.
Most controversial is also that's a controversial one. What is your take here?
Again, the recency bias is going to come into play, but I don't think many people who are going to be tuned in, we're 13 minutes into the Boot Nerds podcast here, they're not going to disagree with us picking the Predator 26 Elite FT. It is not a step forward, not a step backwards necessarily, but a huge step sideways into the F50 line, but still looking like a Predator and throw a tongue on top. Yeah.
And I just think, the Pred ditching hybrid touch feels like, hybrid, and I get you gotta change things up and all that stuff. But for me, the Predator ditching hybrid touch, which was one of the real, obviously alongside the Strike Skin, hybrid touch was one of the real USPs on the Predator. Fantastic upper. I love hybrid touch 2.0. Light, soft, and yeah, I just feel like they're. I got the sensation at least that they were changing things for the sake of change, and more than we really want this thin mesh upper, and that to me is a little bit of a controversial decision, and let's see how they do with time and how the masses respond, but I think that was a controversial one.
Yeah, and it's not that they couldn't make a good mesh upper. When I first saw the pictures, I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be like the speed mesh on X18.1, which I thought was a really soft material. X19.1, kind of the same thing. This trends more in the stiffer, rigid, structured, plasticky direction, which, again, is fine if you really wanted a more structured, thinner feeling, no cushion at all Predator, but I just don't know if that demographic actually exists.
No.
So like, as far as upgrades go, it's like, I don't know that tone deaf is the right way to describe it, but I think
a little harsh, but
I think if you're talking about like the boot reviewing community, where I think we like to think that they're listening and they're watching and stuff like that, all of the positivity around modern Predators were the ones that were the softest. So to go in the opposite direction is strange.
It's a bold, controversial move, at least. Let's see if it pays off. But I think it speaks volumes just to me. The Pro, which is the softer out of the Pro and the Elite, is just feels like a better boot, and obviously stitch and turn heel and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that is the most controversial decision of the year. At least the one that has the biggest impact as well.
Easily.
Another award I've been looking forward to, Josh, and that's for like every year when we talk about this. Best leather boot of 2025. Talk to me.
Lots of good stuff. This is we should have just called this the best Mizuno boot of the year for the most part, because this is a category that they like almost exclusively occupy at this point.
Yeah.
As far as like the really like high end stuff.
Like who are we kidding?
You
We
could honestly make an argument for a lot of their LE releases this year as far as leather boots go.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say that Morelia 2 Proto with the AG plate it's the best leather boot we got all year, and also kind of the biggest disappointment that we only got it once.
I know. And we only got it with the AG plate. I was like, I even texted the guys over at Mizuno and like, you know, it was a long shot and it was cheeky, and I'm not proud of it, but I was like, is there any way that we can take like any FG outsole and slap it on this upper? And they were like, nah, that's tricky, Jay, sorry. But you know, gave it a try. Upper is fantastic. One of the most comfortable leather boots I have tried for ages. So please, Mizuno, if you're watching this, FG in 2026. Yes.
Yeah,
please, thank you.
Would be awesome. And like you said, kind of any sole plate would be good. Shout out as well, even though I said in my review that I didn't think they were necessarily as good as just a standard MIJ Morelia 2, but the Morelia Ultralights, the white with the clear Mizuno Runbird, what a pretty football boot.
It is very, very pretty. I just wish that they hadn't cut the bunny ears on the heel to give us like that Morelia heel shape. They could have still made it really light, and it is what it is. But that for that reason alone, the ultralight is actually not in contention for me.
Yeah.
And then there's another in like the complete end of the price range, or the price scale, so to speak. We have the best takedown boots, which we've also seen a lot of. Like a lot of good takedown boots this year.
Yeah, a lot of good takedowns. And I think 2025 has been the year of takedown models not necessarily being, I guess, quote unquote, affordable like they perhaps once were. With the pro tier category specifically, like we're up to $180 for a takedown model, depending on which variation from which brand, which at that point, you kind of just have to judge it almost like a high-end boot because you're now in high-end football boot pricing territory. But having said that, I do think the Nike Phantom 6 takedown lineup between Pro and Academy is really solid across the board, and also just super unusual. Because when you talk about the Pro specifically, yes, it's expensive, but it's also like gram for gram the lightest football boot on the market, or just off it by like a gram or two, which is not what you would expect from a control boot takedown. No. They fit well. They offer extra grip. They do, in a lot of ways, almost everything as well as the top end elites. They just have a little bit of a thinner upper for the most part. Yeah. And it's like the Phantom Opus to the Magista, not the Phantom Opus, the Magista Opus to the Opera, in the sense that it's like, in the sense that it's just like the more conventional take on
what the high-end elite boot wants to do, right? And then Academy just like, yeah, sure, it has some flaws. The heel isn't amazing, but the way they've actually managed to replicate some of that really sticky, tactile sensation you get in the elites on a synthetic that's ridiculously soft. They both are. For 100 euros is very, very, very good. So yeah, shout out to them. And I know these are probably also on the way. I guess maybe not today, but coming to you.
Yeah, I hope to have those soon.
Yeah, for 160 euros for the launch colorway, and when it comes to inline, will be 150 euros. 150 euros for this, for tech leather, like this is criminal. So very, 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 very good. Yes.
Moving on.
Next one.
The most underrated boot of 2025, and I think this is where. Did we agree? Do we decide to agree in the end?
Depends on what you have.
I had King 20.
Yeah. I can take that. Probably was not what I would have gone for, because it actually seems like there was a newfound appreciation for the King, which has been missing for a while. And it's like everyone, at least the boot reviewers that got to try it yet, were all like, oh, wait a minute, these are actually good. And it marked a little bit of a turning point, but I see where you're coming from. For me, it would probably, let's see where I have it. It's right here. Either the SKX2, and then again, no, because everyone has talked about how good they are, but New Balance, the Kayla V5 Elites, which I feel have been overshadowed a little bit by the SKX2s. And Furons coming out earlier from New Balance, which were also very good. For me, these were for a long time in contention for being boot of the year. They are genuinely amazing, and I had expected them to get more love than they have been getting. So that would probably be what I would point to, but I can definitely live with King 20.
Yeah, Tequila is a fair shot, and I think if you were a CTR 360 fan, I feel like that kind of is the closest thing you can get to that. SKX2, I know a lot of people are very high on that boot. It's still not my favorite. I think the upper is really good. It fits great. It feels comfortable, but I still think it's not a complete package, enough of a complete package as a product.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
It's not. There's got to be, I don't know, 5, 10 other boots. Okay, 5 if we're talking about similar styles that I'd probably rather wear.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just okay. It didn't blow. I just thought recycling that sole plate tooling alone was enough to be like, why? This is still nothing special. Like in the grand scheme of sole plate tech, we're still so far off what like the pinnacle is. And again, I know I picked King 20, which also has a pretty unremarkable sole plate, but I don't know. I'm not there on SKX2.
That's fair. I on the contrary, I thought that the tooling on SKX2 actually it's the same thing, but for me, the way it works with the upper is just a lot better, and it actually takes it from being like, okay, to being rather enjoyable for me. And then again, it all depends on your foot shape and, you know, where you have your pressure zones on your foot and how you push off and all that stuff. So different folks, different strokes and all that stuff, the other way around. But I genuinely enjoyed the SKX2, and for such a simple boot as it is, like there's no crazy tech on it. It's just, it does the job, but the fit to me at least is wonderful. It's sharp. It has that little bit of like texture on the upper. It's nimble, and it does something where I get it on where I'm like, okay. It kind of unlocks that thing in my head that, you know, I'm an average football player, but I feel better than I know I am when I wear them. And that to me is enough to like take them up a level, if you know what I mean.
Okay, that's fair. I think it's a really solid boot. It's easily the best one Skechers has ever made.
Easy.
I just it didn't wow me like I think it did for some others.
I am genuinely surprised at that. Okay, so your pick.
Yeah,
King 20?
King 20 Ultimate. King has been not the king for a couple years. And arguably they're still not going to be the king of the football boot industry with this new model, but I think it's a pretty big step up from what they were doing. And finally a little bit of proof of concept of this synthetic leather idea that they've been pushing for several generations now, where I think if you want a football boot that has that soft, cushioned, I don't want to use the word bulky, but I will say kind of chunkier feel as far as a padded upper is concerned, but in the best way possible.
I agree.
It offers some protection. It's got grip. It's good. It's a really good football boot, and it's very comfortable.
It's so comfortable. And if you appreciate that slightly, more plush sensation, it is significantly less bulky than it looks in hand when you wear them on foot. So I can live with that. Tequila V5, King 20, you guys pick what you want. And then we come to it's not just underrated, it's literally nobody cared.
The Nobody Cared Award.
Nobody Cared Award. Talk to me.
I picked a boot that I think is actually one of the better ones of the entire year, and that's the Predator 25 Elite FT in leather.
Obsidian Strike,
Not that nobody cared. I think some people did care, but based on how sales went, I would say that for the most part, this one is just a football boot that a lot of people skipped out on. And I'm not sure if that's because of the $300 price tag. I'm not sure if that's because of the colorway. If we look back at all the other fusion skin leather variants of modern Predators, they all sold out in like the first hour. Yeah. So I don't know if that says that the market is changing in terms of what people actually want, or at least what the vast majority of average consumers want, or if this is just a bad colorway situation. But this to me was the best variant of Predator 25 by a significant margin, and nobody seemed to want it.
At least it was still, you can still get it on Black Friday sale at Unisport. So that says something, right? It just didn't sell out the way we probably thought it would. I reckon it was fantastic. That's a good point. I was also going to shout out the, as much as it pains me to say, the New Balance 442 V2 Elites, which I had anticipated would get a better reception than they did. Which was like, they came on alongside the Furon, and the Furon is a speed boot, so that probably got the big fanfare. But I thought people would be talking more about the 442 V2 Elites because they are genuinely really, really good football boots.
I think that's a boot, Jay, and Tequila as well, and New Balance, if you're listening, stop launching your boots in neon yellow. Nobody wants that.
Probably.
That's not a color that does well at launch.
And especially in January.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think that's 442 and Tequila V5 really suffered from just not having a colorway that people wanted off the hop.
Mm-hmm. And look, if we're just talking pure quality of the boot, I mean, it's not quite tech leather, but damn, this upper is soft. Like it's soft. It's ridiculously how and when you break it in, and there's no structure in the boot whatsoever. But in terms of pure softness, it is golden.
Yep. Great fit, super light, $160 price tag, and you can get it in wide fit. It is one of the most overlooked mid-price point football boots out there.
I agree. Okay, another big point in this year's awards video is the best limited edition football boot out there. We have had a lot of cool limited editions, and I recorded my video earlier in December, and we've also launched at this point actually. But I've been in my mind has been going everywhere. Like, what is the best limited edition football boot out there? Talk to me, Josh.
So many good choices this year. And I promise to all the viewers, I'm not just saying this because Jay was heavily involved in the return of this particular product.
I sent him a pair. He's
honestly, so a little behind the scenes, I had some early access to this particular football boot before I even knew Jay was involved whatsoever. And I was saying like, wow, this is sneaky one of my favorite boots that I tried all year long, and it is the F50 Plus Spider remake. That's not so much a remake as much it is more of a modern interpretation of that boot from 2005, but not only incredibly cool looking, which I think is important for a limited edition release, it is just legitimately such a great football boot. Fit, comfort, feel, touch, uniqueness. It has it all.
Agreed. And thank you, but I assume that you're talking about the Unisport colorway and not the black blues, right?
No, the Unisport colorway.
There's levels to this. There is levels to this, especially when you're like when you got this, and it looks on the outside to be just a regular Unisport Spider, but when you look inside, can you see? That's a JayMike logo on the insole, which means that they made me a made-to-measure pair, which was like, I mean, my
That's
guys.
pretty cool.
And for me, that was the obvious limited edition highlight of the year. They wanted one of the highlights, full stop, of the year, boot-wise. It's always like, I could go on like a full emotional talk about what it means to a guy like me to get, we also did it earlier in the year with the Preds, what it means to get like a made-to-measure pair. And I'll spare you that. You can watch the videos, but nah, screw it. That's been a dream of mine for like, I don't know how many years, all the years I've been into football boots, and to finally get that and get the, I feel like it's a little bit of recognition, without patting myself too much on the shoulder, but a little bit of recognition for the work I've done over the years, that they finally see that and are like, let's have him try this experience. And the fact that they, on their own, without me like pushing hard for it, on their own, they decided to do that as a surprise to me. They made the insole themselves, and the thought of putting that in, that means a lot, right? So for me, that is the limited edition highlight of the year. But I also just cannot ignore what the market said and what the hype was out there. And I think we have to talk about this as well, which I actually had. If you haven't seen the video yet, spoiler alert, this was my number one for best limited edition release. Not that it was my personal favorite, but because I really like it. I think it's very, very good, faithful replication of the Hypervenom Phantom 1. But just because of it was just right? Mm-hmm. People had been screaming for this remake for ages. And Nike gave it to us. Not only did they give it to us, but it was also very, very good. Arguably an upgrade on the outsole. And it just sold out within minutes, literally within minutes. People were losing their minds about them. And then, a couple of weeks went by, and then Nike dropped the Hydras, and they also sold out within minutes. And I think that, to me, obviously, the Unisport F50 Plus also sold out very, very quickly. But I just think the general hype generated around the Hypervenom, and the fact that it was so good and delivered on something that people had literally been begging for so long, for me at least, makes it take that award, as much as it pains me. But I just, I have to take a step back and look at it that way.
Yeah, in terms of like most anticipated and most hyped up, it has to be OG Hypervenom. It's like you said, it's the one people have been asking for what, 12 years since it came out?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. And Nike did a good job. You're like you said, it's a proper remake. And
they didn't mess up the heel. On the Vapor One regions. So there is that. Quick one on the best knitted football boot of 2025.
Yep. For me, that's a pretty easy one. It has to be the Phantom 6. Grip knit / fly knit. It's soft, it's pliable, it's sock-like. It's everything you would want a sock-like boot to feel like. It's also kind of crazy considering how many sock boots existed not that long ago that you're now fairly limited as far as sock boot options. But what's left is still very good.
Yeah, and is it unfair to say that the Phantom 6 has kind of, brought the Phantom back on track? And breathed new life
not
back
at all.
into it?
I think it's the best Phantom. I mean, obviously GX1 was a very popular football boot, but I think Phantom 6 maybe controversially is actually the better product.
Nah, I'm not too mad at that. I'll be honest. Again, depending on what you're looking for, this is also a very, very, very strong shout for best knitted boots of the year. And I love the Phantom 6. They're great football boots, but to me, I would probably pick the Alphas if I'm being honest. Then we come to a very, very interesting, we're kind of following the footsteps of the best takedown because they're usually very high value for money, but the best value, bang for the buck. Joe?
Out of everything that I've tried, and I don't want to cheat a little bit here because it did come out like late 2024, but I still think Copa Icon 2 is just it's one of those boots I just kept coming back to, and I have for $100 for what it costs, it's fantastic, and also not technically a release this year, but shout out to Mizuno Alpha 2 Elite, also at $180.
Yeah,
fantastic football boot for what you pay.
Yeah, and they're not gonna come out until like next year, but the upcoming inline version of the Alpha 3, the Elite, is also going to be very, very good. But then again, it's not eligible, so there's that. And you can't buy the Ligero Pros until January, which can I include them? They've launched.
It's fine. Yeah, it's definitely includable.
So for me, €160 for that.
Again, having not tried them, if they're anything like Maestro, for $160, that is pretty crazy.
I think some people will genuinely find them better. Okay. Genuinely, like if you have a little bit of like not an issue, but if you are not 100% happy with like the tightness of the Tech-Knit sock, well, this might just be right up your alley because you can adjust the fit a lot better. And yes, the Tech Leather package is a little different. There's a little bit higher loft in this, so it feels a little bit more fluffy and padded like traditional leather. And okay, heel is maybe on the wider side, but it's a very, very, very good product. I agree. Copa Icon 2 has to get a mention.
Yeah.
And any Mizuno Elite boot really. It's also
they just do a good job for what you pay.
And also, I don't know if we can. I don't know if they count. Did they come out this year? I'm not sure. They probably did.
Which one?
Want to see the Neo 3 Elites? No, right?
I don't know. The ones that are like not widespread releases are really hard to keep track of.
It's one of the secret gems. Want to see the Neo 3 Elite? Take it from your Uncle Jay. Go and try them. Like they are nuts. I bought the from Andrew Lockhart, the innovation pack. Want to see the Neo 3 Elites? My God, helping me getting stuff from Japan. That man is a legend. They're very, 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 very good. And obviously, on the list here, I've only based my list on stuff that is readily available in Europe, meaning that things like the Asics X-Fly Pro 3 and the X-Fly 6 haven't included them. We could. I tried them. I love both of them quite a lot. But readily available in Europe, all that stuff.
We haven't talked about this, but I actually, again, it's kind of the theme of this week's episode. I have a pair of Asics on the way right now. So I do think we should, in the future, we should do an episode on Asics in particular, because I have some thoughts and opinions on the brand as a whole and what the availability is like. And I think a lot of people really choose to ignore the fact that 10 years ago, you could have bought all the Asics stuff here, but nobody did and they went away.
Yeah.
And the stuff was good then, just like it's supposed to be very good now.
Oh, it is very good.
Consumers speak with their wallets.
Bring that into the market and you have some of the two strongest options. Silky Wrap is a genuine contender. Personally, I feel that Tech Leather is a little bit better than Silky Wrap, and I know some people would think that's a very controversial decision, but Silky Wrap is arguably the second best synthetic leather material out there. I would say it's a toss up between the Dynamic Touch take on the Tequila and Silky Wrap. Depends on what you like, but yeah. Very, very strong. Anyways, that was a little bit of a deroute from the best value. Now we move on to the worst value, aka the most overpriced boot.
The worst. I like that so much more than most overpriced. The worst value of 2025.
Terrible value for money. And I know we're probably going to disagree a little bit here. I think that the most overpriced right now, and this is a hot take, okay? The PUMA Future 9 Ultimate. €200, it's not like, that's not overpriced. But just in terms of getting the Future back, it's obviously a better product than the Future 8, which was not fantastic, to say the least. But it did some things well. To be fair to it, it did some things well. But overall, it was not a great product and not very well received. So PUMA needed they needed a strong comeback, right? So why not lower the price? We saw in 2020 what they did with the Ultra and was it Future back then? They lowered the price, €200. Like, Well, and they were fantastic football boots. The value for money was through the roof. And now they have a boot that they really need to, like, if this doesn't go well, where's the future line going? Downhill, right?
Yeah.
Every time they have a generation that doesn't bring people back, the closer it is to dying. So you need to convince people to try it again. Not just, hey, it's a good football boot, but like seriously, there has to be so little doubt in their minds that, okay, it's worth the punt. And 240 euros, why? Why would they? They can go buy a Kayla, they can go buy, a Scudetta, they can, there's so many so many boots to buy, right? Like,
Yeah, and that's kind of been Puma's MO for the last several years, is they had all that success because the boots were good and the value was there. And over the last several years, they've increased the prices and seemingly gone backwards with the boots. And from a sales perspective, that's a tough way to grow a fan base.
Yeah. So yours.
Yeah, sorry. I have a pick of my own that I think is just far worse value than any Puma Future. Although Future 8 and especially Future 8, just very questionable as a high-end football boot. But I have one here. I don't know if you've tried them, but the Umbro Toco 5 Pro came out this year.
Okay.
And it bears a retail price of $300 US.
What?
Why? I have no idea why. I don't know who at Umbro made that decision. And the boots are, to be fair, okay. I think it would be a generous way to describe the way that they fit and feel. But for a tooling for the sole plate that they've recycled over 4, 5, 6 years at this point, and a not kangaroo leather upper, and just probably the most basic design you've ever seen in your life, how they concluded that $300 was a good asking price, I have no idea. I would really love to know if they even sold one pair at that price.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they did.
I've not tried them. Honestly, I can't be bothered. Is that unfair to say? Because they don't look fantastic, and their heels have been a disaster for many, many, many years. And it feels like it's just a snob effect in play. It's like if we price it high enough, people are going to think it's a super elite boot, so they're going to try it, and then at least we sell one, right? Which is better than selling none.
I do understand how brands want to price their boots to be competitive and be viewed as alternatives, but I just think that's for a brand that is not popular and is trying to grow, it's just the worst strategy.
You gotta have something.
I think at this point we have to understand that football boot consumers are smarter than that.
Of course. And you got to have something to back up the high price. If you've delivered 2-3 fantastic generations and you come out and say, this is, the R&D that went into this is crazy. They cost a lot of money to do, technology is expensive, blah, 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 300 euros. Okay. I'm not happy, but okay. But that, no, forget it. Okay. That leads us to the next category, the most disappointing.
Yeah. Which again, I think it's pretty obvious one here. It has to be Predator 26 once again, unfortunately for Adidas. It's just it's not the progression you would have hoped for. I think from Predator 24 to 25, while the change wasn't huge, you could admire some of the refinement. And I think where the disappointment comes for me with Pred 26 is not just the upper change, which is not the direction I would have expected them to go into, but not changing the one element that everyone pretty much unanimously thought wasn't very good, which was the heel.
Yeah. And then you give us the Pro where the heel is fantastic. Like I've been asking for a stitch and turn on a Pred for ages, and now they give it to us on the Pro. Like for me, the Pro is where it's at. And if you take the striking elements from the Elite and slap it on the Pro, it's definitely better than the 24 Elite and can also give the 25 Elite a run for its money. I agree. And I really wanted to like the Pred. I always do, but it's just, I'm going to stay with my 25s, I think. So, yeah. Kind of in line with the most unique, so we can skip over that quickly. The most weird boots that came out.
Yep, which again, very fair to say, it's the Ultra Carbon Nitro.
Yeah.
Where, I understand the pink and purple and neon green color scheme to show off the technology, but you made a weird boot appear even weirder. And I just think it is the most oddball product on the market right now.
It's weird. most comfortable football boot of 2025.
Yeah. So this, again, I think this is going to be very much like dependent on personal preference and what you've tried. But I think for both of us, we would agree Mizuno Morelia Proto 2, all over, incredibly soft, made in Japan, kangaroo leather, amazing shaping, really cool off-centered lacing system. Again, kind of crazy that they developed that as a one-off and then never gave it to us again. Here's to hoping that we get more in 2026. Mizuno, if you're listening, please.
Please. The best laceless, I think we can also just touch on. It feels like it's just the Adidas show these days.
Yeah. Well, we only really got, that's really the only new laceless boot of 2025, no?
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's even a 20...
It is good. If you really wanted the Predator feel and aesthetic, but in a more streamlined laceless form factor, I do think that was a good boot.
I agree. And it's probably the only laceless boot I would genuinely wear into a match because it is serviceable. And yes, did it come out at the tail end of 24? Yes, but doesn't matter? No. It also, the main release was in
just kind of crazy though that trend seems to be almost over. Not that laceless F50 I think is still going pretty strong.
It is,
but in general, outside of laceless F50, I don't know where there's not as much demand anymore.
Probably not. No, probably not. That brings us to another very Josh award. The way not to screw it up.
Way to not make it worse or significantly anything else other than just what it needed to be. And I think that has to go to the Tiempo Maestro, just because the expectations were seemingly on the floor after Legend 10. And I want to be clear because I feel like every time I've ragged on the Legend 10 over the last 6 months, there is the fan base that suggests that it's not a bad football boot, and it's not. It's a decent boot. It's just more of a Mercurial than it is a Tiempo in a lot of ways.
Or a CTR 360, right?
Yeah. So Maestro is, given the concept of this synthetic leather upper, it's everything that the Tiempo needed to be to kind of get back on its feet.
Yeah. And to transition into synthetic leather. I agree. And they, they've put almost all their eggs in this basket with really going for tech leather. And obviously a lot of people won't have tried these yet, but it's worked and it's paid off. Tech leather is amazing. And the fact that they've actually shown that it is really hammered home, that it is a viable, it's not a one-to-one alternative to leather. And if you love your leather boots, it's never going to be able to replace leather. But for me, it ticks so many boxes that leather also does that I really, really like them. And I'm a leatherhead, obviously, I love my leather boots. But these are genuinely impressive. So the way that, as you say, they managed to actually make it way surpass the expectations and bring the Legend kind of back to... This should have been the Legend 10, to me.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. That should have been the boot. This is where it's good enough to transition into synthetic leather.
I mean, there's a bunch of little things that made the Legend 10 feel less like a Tiempo than it perhaps could have, even with that base design. But that's for another video altogether.
That's for another video altogether. Take it away with the next one.
Best control boot, and I think we can go through this one pretty quickly. I think it's easily the Phantom 6. For me particularly, I just like the high cut one. I love the idea that we finally made a lace cover that does something other than just cover the laces, where you get legitimately more grip because of that design. Pretty cool. And again, kind of controversial statement here. I know a lot of people did not like the way that this boot looks. I think it's another one that maybe suffered from a not so good launch colorway.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It's really grown on me.
Yeah. I think the new colorway here is sick. I love the black,
cool.
The black contrast and all that stuff. I think this looks like a Phantom. This looks like something I would, think back to like Hypervenom OG style, high contrast, relatively, it's not clean, but you get what I mean. Best control boot of the year, especially with the Pret 26 taking a little bit of a step, not sideways, but maybe a little bit back, So yeah, I agree on that one. Okay. personal favorite boot. Not necessarily that came out in 2025. And I say that because my favorite did not. So I'm going to make an exception to the rule here. I make the rules right now, at least.
So I think to me, what the way I would define this is at the end of the year, having reflected and we've gone and looked back at everything that's come out. If you got to go play right now, which boots are you going to go grab?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 non-beta Japan.
Okay.
Which is probably also, if I was told I could only wear one football boot for the rest of my life, it would be that or the Montezuma Neo 3 Elite. They are everything I need. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Give the stitch and turn heel from the Montezuma on the Morelia. I'm done. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not asking anyone for anything else ever. I'm done. It's over. I retire. Like that's it. That's a pinnacle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I, that is just to make a point there. Anyone that's on the Morelia Neo Beta bandwagon right now, and don't get me wrong, they're fantastic football boots. Try the non-beta version, and I'm telling you, swapping out that textile material for that really soft synthetic with the U-throat construction, standalone tongue, that is one of the most underrated football boots, if we can even call a Mizuno boot underrated at this point. And again, it's just one that we don't get. It doesn't drop as many times. We don't get as many colorways. But the fact that it's less expensive too is kind of crazy.
And bring it to Europe, Mizuno. Please, I beg of you, please. And you will sell tons of them. That's a promise. Yeah. Your favorite boot?
For me, and this is one that I would have probably not expected. I love the way that they look. So based on looks, I probably would have picked them. But now that I've had the chance to spend a lot of time in them, it's the F50 Plus Spider Remix. It is to Josh. Me. I love the way that they fit. It's for me the most comfortable football boot that Adidas makes right now. It's top 5 most comfortable on the market. The combination of the leather across the top and the grippy on the sides is really, really just, it takes getting used to, but once you get used to it, it has such a unique kind of controlled sensation. The lacing system makes absolutely no sense.
No.
Like every time I look at it, I'm like, how did they even figure this out? It's like they've tied a knot underneath the lace cover, but it just works. Everything it's a fantastic pair of football boots. And what I love about it is it has no alternative. You can't compare that to anything.
Uh-huh. Mate, I'm so proud. I have absolutely zero, involvement in actually making, the product itself, but I'm just so proud. So
it's just, to me, that is, I really hope we get that in like 10 colorways. I know we complain as a general boot community, like, do we really need another Predator remake? Oh my gosh. But like, give me the F50 Plus remakes for as long as you possibly can.
Maybe instead of giving us like 7,000 Manias, they could give us one more of the F50 Pluses. That'd be, which colorway would you take?
The Unisport colorway would be my number one right now.
Thank you.
As far as like colorways that haven't come out yet, I really liked the white ones with the black webbing.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool.
Like the black base with white lace cover. That would be my pick.
Yeah. I like that one.
Red ones were good too.
The red ones were also good. Honestly, there was no bad colorways of either first F50 or F50 Plus. I thought they were all pretty cool.
Really, really, really good.
We also need the first F50 as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Adidas, if you're watching.
That'd be cool. Yeah, make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
black and yellow. We need that.
Oh, iconic. It's, white, blue.
Mm-hmm.
Second to last. Yeah. The People's Choice, aka the most popular, which is probably the easiest award of the year. The Nike Mercurial.
Yeah. They almost win that every year. It is one of the longest going lines in football boots, and speed category is so popular. It's an excellent product. I've criticized it throughout the year, and I'm sure you've noticed as well, with the graphics really changing up how much grip knit exposure you're actually going to get from colorway to colorway, which I think is a little bit silly. Yeah. But it's undeniably a great speed boot.
I agree. And it's one of those things I can always come back to the Mercs. I know it's like a safe haven for me. I can always come back. I enjoy them. Great shape, feel responsive, unique on the ball. I mean, no, absolutely no problem with that. And then the final category of 2025, the best football boot to come out this year.
Yep.
2 girls over drinks, go.
This is, I'll be honest. We've both been doing product reviews on football boots for
a lifetime,
a very long time now, years and years and years. And I've never felt self-conscious in sharing any of my opinions. I feel like I've always been as brutally honest as I can be and kind of unapologetic. Unapologetic about it. This football boot made me question my own opinion because it's something that I think at least I have, and I know to a certain extent you have as well, have preached against as a concept for a very long time now. But having tried them and spent a significant amount of time with them, I am so thoroughly impressed with Nike Tiempo Maestro. It's crazy. It's crazy that I'm about to say this, but a synthetic leather football boot in 2025, in my opinion, is the boot of the year.
The funny thing is, I agree. 95% of that opinion is formed by tech leather, because tech leather is, to me, there are many great synthetic leather uppers out there, but tech leather is just that level above to me. The tension it has, the padding the package has, the obviously the softness is ridiculous. The tactility that it offers on the ball, the shape is great, and the thing that it does mentally to me when I get them on, that thing is something that not many football boots will offer you. So I think it's one hell of a comeback. Absolutely brilliant. Remontada, whatever they call it. Amazing. And it deserves every bit of praise to me that it gets. And yes, are we just glazing Nike because I have it early and you have it early and, we're so thankful. Please give us more early access. I mean, I get those calls, but I can only encourage you to, if you are skeptical about what we're saying here with the Tiempo Maestro, and not everyone will love it, that's fair, but go out and try it. And I have a hard time seeing anyone going out there touching this upper and saying that's a bad upper.
Yeah,
it just isn't. Like,
but I think even beyond just like feeling how soft it is in your hands, the more that I do this, the more I think that this doesn't actually tell the whole story, because there's lots of uppers that we can like make feel pliable in your hand. Predator 26 being a great example of that, especially after you wear it in, it gets less crunchy and it moves around nicely. But it's not until the upper is under tension with your foot inside of the football boot where you get to see the true nature of how soft and how pliable and how naturally a synthetic material is able to move. And that's the thing that's so hard to replicate from a natural leather material. And this manages to do it. I think for me, I had to think about it a while. What really impressed me about Tiempo Maestro, it's also, I keep wanting to call it Legend 11 bad. I don't know why, but what I'm so impressed with this boot is the uniformity across the entire upper from a feel and touch perspective. Because I think even we gave the Morelia Proto 2 awards today. It's a fantastic football boot, kangaroo leather across the entire foot, but it's more padded in the toe box, gets less padded as you trickle into the midfoot. And the nature of natural leather is you have to change up the way that it's reinforced and really the treatment and style of leather throughout the entire foot to make it function as a football boot. And even then, that's a football boot that feels great out of the box, but the more and more you wear it, the sloppier it gets. It changes feel. And you might like that. I like that. But if you really want that true consistency in terms of fit and structure and touch on the ball, this is one of the most consistent football boots across your entire foot that I've ever tried.
Agreed. And it's soft out of the box. It only gets softer, but without any of the drawbacks that you would have with a leather boot. And that's impressive. So it only gets nicer, but without getting worse. If that makes sense.
One other thing that I'll say, because you touched on it, Legend 10 was very kind of, if you wanted to compare it to something from Nike's past, it was more CTR 360. I do not get that from Tiempo Maestro. This does not feel, I feel like comparing this to a CTR 360 is actually a little bit insulting.
I agree.
Because it's not the same at all.
No. And it's not a Legend either. It's its own thing, and I like that. This is the future. And I think that's a great way to end the Boot Awards. What a year, man. What a year.
It really was a great year for boots.
I would also really love to hear what you guys think out there. Obviously, there's a lot of Boot Awards. So maybe take the ones you agree with the most, and maybe also the ones that you don't. Leave them in the comment section right down below. And I think with that, we should just close off another great year. Not that many Boot Nerds podcast episodes, but there will be more now. We said it last year, we say it now, and we mean it. And I'm excited about 2026. There will be some good stuff coming out in 2026. So, yes. Any final remarks?
No, just looking forward to the new year. And yes, Boot Nerds is actually and officially back.
Yeah,
So get excited.
So get excited. I'm excited. Boys and girls, thank you so much for tuning in. If you stayed with us for this one, you are real G's, as always. And all that's left to say is, now that my English has officially left me, I am JayMike, and I approve this message. Happy New Year. See you later.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.